Hey friends, welcome back to our channel. The other day when I was goofing around on my cell phone, I stumbled across a topic about pu'er and probiotics. I was like, what a weird topic. I've never thought of these two things together. But a few days later, I suddenly remember a talk that I had with one of my tea friends at a gathering. He mentioned that either them or Tea Association of Canada did some tests on Shu Puerh tea and found no living things on it. It felt a little bit of weird or not clear to me at the moment what it meant, but there have been many studies, tests, and researches done on Shu Puerh for bacteria, contents during the process as well as a finished product for quality purposes. So that was where my mindset was. But now I think of this conversation and the implications of wording and link it with this pu'er and probiotics topic. I'm wondering, maybe that was the purpose of his test, was to see if there's a probiotics on Shu Puerh tea, and I just didn't get that at the moment. Well, these little incidents inspire me to make today's video and talk about the pu'er and probiotics. Do you drink Shu Puerh tea because you want the benefit of its probiotics? Leave your comment below, I'm very curious about it. Well, if you do, you might be disappointed. Okay, I started doing some search online, and I just wanted to say, is that a real topic that people are talking about, pu'er and probiotics? And it is. I got many hits and even discussions on Reddit. One of the comments on Reddit even posted a picture with the tea he bought and suggesting that based on this tea package, it seems to be true that there are probiotics in pu'er tea. Looking at this picture, I found two interesting things. I'm not gonna put the original picture because it will easily reveal which tea brand it is, but just some keyword here. First, it mentioned 1 billion CFUs per tea bag. When you see this clear number of probiotics in the food, it pretty much means that there's an additive, meaning this amount of probiotics is added not naturally from this food. And indeed, in the ingredient list, it's tea and probiotics. It's clearly listed, so the person who posted this image might have not checked the ingredients list and mistaken this as the suggestion for probiotics in pu'er tea. The second thing I noticed is it mentioning green pu'er as a fermented tea. Most of the time when we talk about green pu'er and you look at the tea liquid, it's a Shu Puerh. It's a light yellow greenish color, and that tea doesn't have fermentation process. So I'm not sure why this one is marked as a green pu'er, but at the same time says it's fermented tea. But overall, through my search online, I found that there's lots of confusion. And when there is confusion about Chinese tea, oftentimes I wonder if that comes from China side. So I also did a little online search on this topic in Chinese. It turns out, yes, I did find search results talking about pu'er and probiotics. However, the source of these posts, the credibility is very low. Those are websites I don't think I will use. The information, I don't think it's useful information. As we often mention that we've been in the tea industry in China for many years, and I have to say, I've never heard of Shu Puerh has probiotics. It didn't even cross my mind ever. So if somebody asked me directly, I think what I would say is, where did you hear that? Why would there be probiotics in Shu Puerh tea? I am honestly very curious of What's the source of this? Is it from some research or study? Not likely. We're going to talk about that later. So, is it just another myth or misunderstanding or confusion lost in translation? This reminds me to reflect on how I introduce people about the Shu Puerh tea or even dark tea, those teas with post-fermented process. I often say Shu Puerh is a dark tea. It goes through a fermentation process and is very beneficial for your digestive system. Ha! I could be the source of this misunderstanding. Of course, I'm not the only one who is introducing tea to people, but reflection on my own way of wording, it can be misleading to some who are new to tea. Even though that wasn't my intention at all, but to some people, fermentation, beneficial digestive system, you must be referring to probiotics. No, I wasn't. But do you feel my wording is misleading? Maybe you can help me out with a better wording to explain this tea. Okay, a little defense on my half. In Chinese culture, we eat a lot of fermented food. We have various bean pastes, we have so many fermented products of tofu, we have vinegar, we have soy sauce, we have so many food that go through microbic process, but we don't really link those products with probiotics. From traditional wisdom, we're always told that fermented food is beneficial for us. From modern studies and science perspective, we also learned that fermented foods can be beneficial to us. Probiotics is just one of it. Fermentation is a complicated process that generates many unique beneficial products from the original material. Probiotics is definitely one of the most commercialized and popular concept nowadays. So do studies and researchers talk about a microbiome in Shu Puerh tea? Hell yeah, but mostly about the fermentation process. There are many studies looking into microbial activities and quality of Shu Puerh, both from the tasting perspective as well as safety perspective. So could there be probiotics in Shu Puerh? Well, there might be, but is that meaningful to us? Probably not. First, what happened during the fermentation process is mostly environmental microbiome. It's quite different compared to human microbiome. Second, after the fermentation process, the tea also have to be dried. During the drying, the temperature is unpleasant for probiotics. And despite the temperature, removing water content, this drying thing is also a big reduction in the number of probiotics. There's so much tuning in terms of how to make the supplement little pill effective. And this is not a key concern in making Shu Puerh tea. Then we gotta brew up the Shu Puerh tea in hot water, another round of undesired temperature for probiotics. So by now, if there's any probiotics left from the process, there's not much left. And not to mention, we gotta drink that tea. Our digestive system, especially the stomach acid, is very strong. It protects us as well as kills probiotics. So the amount of probiotics that can actually reach our gut will be very low. And this is not unique to Shu Puerh or tea. It's true with almost all natural food. Hoping for probiotics in natural food to really increase the number of probiotics in our guts is not very meaningful. That's why when developing a good probiotic supplement, stomach acid is a major hurdle. Of course, I'm not saying fermented food is not good and you should just go for probiotics supplement. With a healthy lifestyle, you don't need those supplements. balanced diet, proper exercise, well rested, etc. etc. In the end, I still would like to say that Shu Puerh as well as other fermented tea is beneficial for your digestive system, not because of probiotics, but many other reasons. They're rich in prebiotics. The fermentation process, especially Shu Puerh, significantly boosts polysaccharides, and it even generates a small amount of levastatin. Of course, this is not a replacement for your medicine. These are just a few examples of the benefits of a fermentation process. I hope this video is helpful. If there's anything I didn't explain well, please leave me a comment and chime in and let me know your thoughts on this topic. Until next time, keep steeping.